lust. I see matches in the kingdom. I see hunters slaying dead. I see fire on this earth coming down like you were shit. I see prophets rising up, prophesying scriptures cut. I see Christ, he coming back, and in black he look like us. I see it, 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 I see it.
We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to the Late Show Thursday. We're Precept upon Precept. We're your hosts. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Micah.
All praise to the Most High. And like we do every opening of the show, first of all, let me take a step back. We'd like to thank everybody that is subscribed, that shares our page, that shares our videos. Everybody, like in the words of Deacon Yashua, y'all make this thing. Let's get some users on. Let's share this link right now to get as many people as we can on. Because why? Because we have, we're doing current events, what's going on in the world, and we are trying to grow New Orleans. Our next goal is 25,000 subscribers, going to 30. So help us to get that goal. Share the video, like, hit the bell notifications, and in the commentary, make comments more than just, hey, that's right. Say something pertaining with some keywords that affects the algorithm, as y'all know. So with that, we go right to the Watchman Report with Officer Micah. Take it away.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Not going to hold up the show. Good evening. Let's get right into the articles. IT team, let's roll with it. 11 people are dead after Mexico church roof collapses. No more people believed buried in rubble. So Northern Kingdom catching it already. All right, next article, please. IT team. Russian oil and gas budget revenues up 15% in September. Official data. This is Reuters, y'all. Hey, they making that money off their oil and their gas. All right. Sikkim cloud burst. At least 22 Indian troops missing after flash flood. And I ain't talking about Northern Tribe. Last article, please. Woman back in New York after being detained in Dubai since July. Nightmare. Hey, y'all keep going over there playing with. Hey, Ishmael ain't playing. This concludes the Watch and Report.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Welcome back. Hey, we're going to go straight to our thumbnail. That's what we do those of you who are new, what we do is we go watch and report. We come through. We do a thumbnail because the thumbnail is appropriate for the show. And then we go to the first half of the show. Try to keep a structured format. Let's go ahead and put the thumbnail up on the screen, y'all. And Officer Mikael, break this down.
So what we have here is your social score and digital currency. What we have is the social media, it's actually the social media credit score is what's going on here, and digital currency. Based on your social media credit score is how they determine if you're going to be able to spend your money where you want to spend your money. Are you ready for that? China is going to be the case study because China already has this implemented. So that's what we're actually describing here in the thumbnail. As you can see, the brother over there on the side is worried because he doesn't know how he's going to be able to spend his money because the government is going to be able to control that.
All praises, all praises. So there's a lot going on back there in the background. You see the flag is the China flag, Chinese flag back there. You see social media. You see the cell phone. You see the picture of the guy's brain, all neurological connections and pathways in different colors. A lot going on, a lot of meaning behind there, and something that we are probably going to see, unfortunately. But before we get into this, if we could can you pull that routers, or is it not? Okay. So a couple of shows ago, we talked about the importance of Iraq, and this has to do with bricks and geography. This just happened like 13, 14 hours ago. We talked about before the alliance between Saudi Arabia and Iran coming to BRICS. Now there's been a major change, probably been brewing in the background, for Iraq. Pull up the map that I sent you of the Middle East. Now we know Middle East is the term that the white man came up with. So if we can take, bear with me, Saudi Arabia is the largest country in the Arabian Peninsula. When you look up to the straight up Iran, if you look at Iran, there you go. So in the middle is gray. If you look at gray with the Tigris and Euphrates River, you have Iraq. Iraq is going to be the center of this article. And last week, I don't know if you remember, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, we talked about how Syria opened up relations with China for the first time in like 19 years, right? Let's now look. Saudi Arabia and Iran, you have to have been following the show to understand what we're talking about. Saudi Arabia and Iran, China was the big brother that made them realize that, hey, you're brothers, you have a similar culture, similar language, similar religion, and you let this white man divide you. So they opened up embassies for the first time in decades in their country. Syria is now working with China, and now Iraq. We're about to read an article, a little bit of backdrop. All of this, why is this important? Because India, which is to the right of Oman, right? Now India is working with trade routes to go through Iran. They're building different infrastructures to make trade and natural resources easier to transport. This is very important. Why? Because they have us focus on Donald Trump, the gag order, and a bunch of BS that's nonsensical while the world is slowly shifting away from the dollar. Pull up the article. This is hot off the press. This is today's news, okay?
Exclusive. Iraq to end all dollar cash withdrawals by January 1st, 2024. Central Bank official.
Right now, we are in October. Are we October? Yes, October. This is like about 3 months away, right? And it was 5:08 this morning. I don't know what time it was, but it's as of today. So read on.
Baghdad, Reuters. Iraq will ban cash withdrawals and transactions in U.S. dollar as of January 1st, 2024.
Iraq is moving away from the U.S. dollar. Why is it important? Because the United States dollar is the reserve currency for the entire world. We talked about that with the how is it called? Help me out here. The petro. When all the American trade that came out of Saudi Arabia had to go through the U.S. dollar. That changed the game. Iraq is now moving away. Read on.
In the latest push to curb the misuse of its hard currency reserves in financial crimes and the evasion of U.S. sanctions on Iran, a top Iraqi central bank official said.
Read on.
The move aims to stamp out the illicit use of some 50% of the $10 billion that Iraq imports in cash from the New York Federal Reserve each year.
So 50% of the $10 billion, it's $5 billion that they import from the New York Federal Reserve. Remember, China and Russia are selling their debt. They're selling their debt. And what are they doing? They're backing up their currencies with precious metals, gold. We're going to get into that tonight. Read on.
Mazan Ahmed, Director General of Investment and Remittance at the Iraqi Central Bank, told Reuters.
Read on.
It's also part of a border push to de-dollarize an economy that has seen the greenback preferred over local notes by a population weary of recurring wars and crises following the 2003 U.S. invasion.
Stop right there. Go back. Go back to there, please. I want to focus. It says also part of a broader push to de-dollarize in an economy that has seen the greenback preferred. Why was it preferred? Well, they invaded friggin' Iraq. They invaded Iraq when Saddam Hussein was hired by the U.S. government at one point. So all of this, they have give me that second Esdras, the dragons of Arabia. You don't think when they killed the number 2 Solomons, and like Micah mentioned, well, I had the shot, I had to take it. You don't think the Iraqis recognize that? You don't think the Iranians are pissed off that their brothers, who was one country away, got invaded during the Iraq war? You don't think they have any animosity for that?
And they took all of the money.
And they took the money and burned the damn oil fields.
The gold, all of that stuff.
You were there. This brother was there. I had Staff Sergeants of Marine Corps that were there. No, that was number 1. I was Iraq 1. You was in Iraq 2, right? Iraq 1, they did a lot of terrible stuff over there. All of them were horrible. Read that Dragons of Arabia.
Yes, sir. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 31.
Pull the map of the Middle East up again. Why? We've gone over this many times. These Arabs are from the princes of Ishmael. They know that they're royal and they love each other. They just allowed corruption and greed to divide them. Okay? Read.
Verse 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand.
Come on.
Remembering their nature.
See, their nature is, when you read in Genesis, they are the princes of the sons of Ishmael. Guess who that includes? Iran, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Oman, the United Arab Emirates. By the way, for those of you who don't, if you ever watch Andrew Tate, he black brother. Andrew Tate spends a lot of time in a place called Dubai. Dubai is one of the richest cities. If you watch YouTube and TikTok, you see a lot of Dubai. The best cars in the world you're going to see. Dubai is in the United Arab Emirates. It's right there. All of that, super rich oil country, all of these is the princes of Ishmael down to Oman, Saudi Arabia. All of that is joining together. And the big players was Saudi Arabia and Iran. Those were the 2. Once they got them, now all of a sudden, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, now Iraq is ditching the damn dollar. So if you're an Iraqi citizen, as of January 2024, you can have all the U.S. greenbacks. You can use that value in the country, but after that, it's done. And guess what? A lot of other countries are going to follow suit, and you're going to see the dollar continue to decline. That was it on that. Let's go to number 1. Let's go to number 1, y'all. And like I said, brothers, please do not let me, please feel free at any time to give your input. I'm going to start with number 1. It's a whole video. It's very short. This guy, his name is Jerome Powell. Those of you who track financial markets, he is the Fed chair of the Federal Reserve. This guy's got power. He's got influence. This is a quick 3-minute video. He's going to talk about the potential, this is from 2 years ago, the potential of the U.S. dollar to shift to a digital national currency. Why is it important? We're going to find out later on. Play.
Build the world's first digital currency from a major power. Currency that would not be printed but would exist only in cyberspace on your phone, for example. Is the Fed working on a digital dollar?
We are actually evaluating that. Most major countries are now looking at the possibility of having a digital currency and really asking the question, in our very modern advanced economy with a fast, efficient, full-blown payment system, would adding a digital currency, a form of digital currency, would it actually benefit the public that we serve? That's the question that we're asking. We're working very hard on that. We're also doing quite a lot of technological experiment. I mean, technology has made this a possible thing, and so we feel it's our obligation to understand it How would it work? What would the features of it be? There are many subtle and difficult policy choices
Pause
and
real
design.
quick. When they say trying to figure out how it works, they know exactly how it works because they study China. They study their enemies. They know China is their enemy, and they study them. So in the background, if you could just pull up, and as soon as you can, I want the petro, I want Richard Nixon, and the move away from gold. Because what he's talking about is the digital currency. As soon as you go away from gold, now you're printing with funny money, and it's back with no, basically, the federal, it's the U.S. Treasury. It's the U.S. dollar that backs everything. That's the value because they know it's the richest country in the world. They put their stock in the U.S. Treasury. Now, we're going to go a little bit later. U.S. Treasury was tier one. Everybody in the world, even if you didn't like the U.S., you trusted in the U.S. Treasury. Now, gold has moved up to tier one, and now the U.S. dollar in treasuries is more volatile, I mean, more dangerous than gold now. That's why you see all these BRICS countries coming up, and the people in the U.S., they are worried. The people at the top, they are concerned, okay? Can you pull up the petro?
And
Good
Cap,
job. Yes, sir.
What they getting at? He said they've been doing their study and their research on this digital currency.
Yep.
Case in point is, when you look at your PlayStations and different video games, they have this currency that you have to use certain credits. So that's actually them testing. Even with Bitcoin, that's them testing to see how this digital currency works. They even had an NFL player recently that had one of his contracts was done all in Bitcoin. You think that was by mistake? No, they had him go out there and do that because that's what they're planning on doing eventually.
Wow.
So it's all been testing.
Imagine the people that can't get that yet. Imagine the people that don't have access to. A lot of people don't have bank accounts.
Right.
So imagine those people that kind of depend on the cash to get things done. What happens with them?
And it's crazy. You should say I was in the airport, I guess a couple months ago, and I wanted to get something, and I didn't want to use my card, and I went to try to look to get something, and you'll find more and more people are not taking. They don't even accept cash as a form of payment anymore. So if you move away from cash entirely, now it is digital with a credit card. But sooner or later, they're going to move away from the cards, and everything is going to be through your phone, or it's going to be it's most likely going to be through your phone. Everything will be a digital sense of currency. And to your point, Officer Matt, a lot of people who are senior citizens, you hear them say, they don't want to do that. They don't. I know a guy named Ronald, cool brother. He got a flip phone still. I'm like, yo, how do you get to keep that? Because a lot of you can't keep a flip phone. The old school flip phones, it has to be a modern smartphone. They make a flip phone that has a colored screen with a smartphone. I think Samsung makes it, but they're making people move away from certain technologies.
Cap, they still got people that write checks today.
Yes. I know a few. I do some business stuff. They will mail me a check. Older people, they don't like all that tech stuff. They don't like using the car, stuff like that. They still like to do stuff. They balance it in the little top part, and they write a check because that's how they track. That's how when I was in school, they had economics and stuff like that where you actually learned how to balance a checkbook. But now,
I still write checks every now and then. It's a convenience. It really is.
And we're seeing when we get to the second half of the show, we're going to get into China. China is really, in many ways, is a significantly more advanced society than we are. Really, and as I begin to study it, it's really they're beyond us in a lot of ways. And the hell with Esau, I mean, whatever. But I'm just saying that when it comes to this world, China they got something to worry about. Continue to play that. Oh, here we go. Beautiful.
Petrodollars are U.S. dollars paid to an oil exporting country. Petrodollars are the primary source of revenue for many OPEC members and other oil exporters. Oil exporters settle sales in U.S. dollars because the dollar is most widely used currency, making it easier for them to invest export proceeds.
The U.S. dollar is the reserve currency for the entire planet Earth. That is slowly starting to change. Nixon took away, if you can pull up Richard Nixon, and he just gets the blame for it, but he was the president at the time. When you move just think about it, right? If you have a currency that is not backed by gold or diamonds or even silver's another, then you're saying to people, trust me, these notes that I write, they hold their value. But they're printed on money. They're just a piece of paper they're printed on. The reason why is because everybody knows the U.S. has got army bases everywhere. We control the earth. They can make up whatever they want, and no one could touch them. That's why we did all these shows on BRICS. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, South Africa. They're rising up. They have 6 new members. And now Iraq, we just read an article, Iraq is now moving away from the dollar. Guess what that means? If Iraq does it, when will Syria do it? So on and so forth. We are living in the last days where the Most High is allowing these countries another route. Now, the U.S. ain't going to take it laying down, like Bishop pointed out. They got something up their sleeve, okay? But all of this is going to form, said it before, these countries in Europe, they do not want NATO's presence, okay? They see it as a threat to their livelihood, and we saw it. Go back to the Fed chair video. Or do you have the Nixon? Yeah, let's read it.
Nixon directed Treasury Secretary Connolly to suspend, with certain exceptions, the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, ordering the gold window to be closed such that foreign governments could no longer exchange their dollars for gold.
You hear that? So they made it so that foreign governments, like China, Japan, Russia, you couldn't take your dollars and cash them out for gold. That's some wicked-ass stuff right there. And they've accepted it because they know the U.S. is the power. And where did they get that real power from? Give me Revelation chapter 13. The real power they came from is when they made fire rain from heaven. After 1945, they took the world by storm. Why? Because Japan was bold as hell. Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. They bombed the U.S. base. And you know what? The U.S. said, okay, well, we've been working. And then we stopped Oppenheimer, the whole race for that. And this is scriptural. Once they did this, they said, surely this is God. You got that?
Yes, sir. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 13.
Start at verse 1 and then jump.
Verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea.
So the beast rose up out of the sea. This beast is talking about the so-called white man, that red dragon. Read on. And the white man and his European allies. But for this, we're talking about the white man in America. Read on.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
That's right.
And upon his
7 heads. You're talking about the 7 heads and the 10 horns with the EU or the common markets. Read on.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns.
Yes.
And upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Right. It's talking about the white man, but now jump to 12 and 13.
Verse 12. And he exercises all the power of the first beast.
Who was the first beast? Rome. Rome was the first. They fell in 193, and then they came back during the Renaissance. And ever since then, they rose up. And now the extension of that is the United States of America. They're the ones who, verse 13, read on.
Before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven.
This is how you know it's a historical change. Read verse 12 again.
Verse 12. And he exercises all the power of the first beast.
Who was the first beast? Rome took the damn world over. The white man in Rome was powerful. If you look at the maps of ancient Rome, they had all huge geographies. And they pushed their white Jesus, their white God. Actually, yes, it was Jesus. Jesus came in the latter part of the Roman Empire. They pushed their white God, their Greco-Roman philosophies. When you read in 1 Maccabees, and evils were multiplied in the earth. Read on.
Before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast.
Right.
whose deadly wound was healed.
They was healed. They rose back up. After the Renaissance, their wound was healed. They rose back up. And their allies, the Dutch masters, Spain, Portugal, all of them, they started to conquer the whole world with colonialism and slavery. Read on.
And he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven.
They didn't do that in the 1500s, the 1600s. The fire didn't come down from heaven in 1760 or 1813. Fire came down in 1945. Read it again.
And he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
And guess what? That was Nagasaki and Hiroshima. It was the atom bomb, right? Read on.
Verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles.
So it was a miracle. They ended the war. Japan, that's it. They killed tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, major radioactive injuries. And guess what? Everybody in the earth said, even Germany's like, don't mess with them. The United States at that point was the world superpower without question. That's why they became arms race and the whole Cold War. The U.S., that's why they established military dominance everywhere on the planet Earth. Now, why is that important? Because once the petrodollar came on, now they did away with gold, and they could print as much money as they want. You can't get gold for it, and you got to trade like that. Iraq is now saying, F you. We're not dealing with it no more. BRICS is forming. You see the countries forming, all right? Go back to the Fed video. Now I'm going to move on. It's number one.
Thing. And so we feel it's our obligation to understand it. How would it work? What would the features of it be? There are many subtle and difficult policy choices and design choices that you'd have to make. We're doing all that work. We have not made a decision to do this because, again, the question is, will this benefit the people that we serve? And we need to answer that question well. And we need to involve the public and Congress deeply in that.
That's a load of crap and a load of bull crap. I'm going to prove it to you. They say that America is a democracy, right? And you involve the public in your vote. Well, then how do you have a college electorate make the final decision? So it has nothing to do with your vote. They're not going to involve the people. This was 2 years ago. They already have everything set up. They're just going to deliver it to you in digestible segments so you could try to accept it.
What they do is they make it votable to give the appearance that you have a choice, but you really don't.
It's called
fact.
smoke and mirrors.
Facts, brothers, facts. Are we done with the Fed video or is there more? All right.
Important step if we were to do this.
But given the fact that the final decision hasn't been made, you are doing, if I understand you correctly, software development, even graphic design on what a digital dollar would look like and act like.
Yes, we're doing lots and lots of work. We're doing stuff jointly with with other central banks. We're doing things at the Boston Fed, and many of the regional feds have little projects going on. Here at the board, we have a group of people who are doing software development and that kind of thing. You know, this is really just table stakes. This is understanding the technology and the possibilities so that you can really address the policy issues.
You think it's likely?
I think it's possible, is all I would say. You've seen many.
That's a lie. That's a lie. This was 2 years ago. They already had this stuff developed 10, 15 years ago, and they know that it works already. And all this software development and testing that they're saying they're doing, they might be working out a few bugs and kinks and seeing exactly how they're going to implement it.
Mm-hmm.
But they already have all this stuff. Anything that you see on the market, they already had it 20 years before that.
Right. You know what, Sebi? When I was a kid, I made this reference before. When I was a kid, there was a cartoon, very basic, called The Jetsons, and Mr. Spacely was a space father, and we used to make jokes. Yeah, right. Mr. Spacely had a watch. This was like in the late 70s, early 80s. He would talk to his watch, and the video was on the watch. The writers that wrote that had to have the vision. How did they know 50 years ago, almost 45 years ago, that that would be a reality? Now, you got kids that are 7, 8 years old that are going to school and linking up and tracking their homework what do they call them, forums, and their assignments with their parents. It's the next level. I mean, you got one of them watches, right?
Yeah, I didn't wear it today because I was walking out the house. But, yeah, you can legit, like, if I didn't want to pull my phone out of my pocket, I don't have to. If my phone rings, my watch is going to ring, and I can answer it, and I can talk to somebody. And if I wanted to FaceTime them, I could FaceTime them. It's just like the Jetsons. The only thing that's different is we don't have flying cars yet.
Elon Musk, he's very, very straightforward. He's like, look, he's like, I think it'd be like a helicopter. We're just going to make tunnels. We're going to go on the ground. 7 layers. That's how Elon Musk. We're going to go around. Well, 14 layers. Don't worry. We'll get it done. It's super rich. Go to number 2. We're going to move right on. So, I'm sorry. No, China's brain. Wait. Hold on. Let me see. I'm sorry. I don't want to go there yet. I want to keep it seat. Go to number 4. China's going to be the second part of the show. So Officer Mike has a good, quick, very powerful thing you put up is awesome. Go to CBDC. This is our girl. Sounds like a mouse, very soft-spoken, but she's full of up-to-date information. So all I want is the first 3 minutes, and y'all know her, Miss Petrova. Play.
In this video, I will share the latest on CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. I think there is some confusion about the recent bill that seeks to ban the Fed from issuing.
I want you to, if we can put this aside, I have 2 brief, short videos that are going to explain the CBCD, which is the central bank digital currency. Most people do not understand this. Even this way, you need to have it explained a couple different ways, because this is very important, because China's there already. And we just had the federal chairman say 2 years ago, we've been working diligently. We got all the formulas, but we're working with other central banks in different countries. Like Mikhail said, they already have the backdrop. We are going to see this. You got to get your mind ready for this. Okay? And this is why when Bishop tells us, look, we need to make sure we get things that are tangible. Assets like land, like having, I'm just saying, gold is something that's always going to hold its value. Having things like skills that if you have a car, say you get a car, Officer Mike is a mechanic, you get a car, you might want to get a car you can work on and have parts and make sure those parts are available, because if it's the fan, if you could take the parts and change them on your car, you got land where you're growing your food. Those are things that are assets, that are tangible, that are manageable, that have nothing to do with, land holds the value.
It's important that you're talking about this, Cap, because I saw on social media, you know what made the news?
What's that?
Quavo ate a $100,000 hot dog. A rapper paid $100,000 to eat a hot dog covered in gold. Meanwhile, they're issuing a central bank digital currency. They're trying to change the face of currency for the world, which is going to spark up a war with the United States and the rest of the world. All of this stuff happening around us, and we literally live in a bubble here in America.
You know what's heavy? We're starting this. They're starting this digital currency, right? And I believe it was on Wednesday at about 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. The government sent a signal to everybody's cell phone to make their phone go off, regardless of if you had it on vibrate or not. They're testing signals that they can send out. You know what these signals can do? It could potentially block you from being able to spend your money once we go to this digital currency.
In the second half of the show, you're going to see that it's really going down. It's really going, and this is where, as the Israelites, you're going to have to make some choices, because you'll see. So, number 5, let's get a short explanation of the CBDC. Then we're going to go back to our girl, Petrova.
A lot of discussion about central bank digital currency this week. And central bank digital currency is a core area of focus of ours at the Atlantic Council Geoeconomic Center. So we wanted to take a moment to do a deeper dive and explain what exactly is a central bank digital currency, or CBDC. The easiest way to think about it is to think about paper cash. If you have paper cash in your pocket, you sometimes realize you don't have as much as you need at any moment, you don't have it when you need it. A central bank digital currency puts paper cash on your phone. That's really the core idea here. And it's a little different than your commercial banking money where you bank with your local banks, or a cryptocurrency which doesn't have a specific value, or even a stable coin which is theoretically pegged to this dollar but isn't actually a dollar. A central bank digital currency, a digital dollar, or any currency is the representation of that currency, just in digital form. And it's something central banks around the world have become increasingly interested in over the past few years.
Now remember that the move away from the US dollar is the shift towards a currency, whether digital or not, that is backed by something tangible, gold, silver. The US, according to 1971 with Richard Nixon, they moved the Federal Reserve, which moved away from gold. Just the U.S. Treasury, trust in us, will make sure the value holds. The whole world was manipulated into that. Now through BRICS, with the implementation of the 6 new countries, now Iraq's moving away. More and more people are going to say, we're selling U.S. debt. We're not dealing anymore with the U.S. dollar.
Hey, Cap, that would make sense because an embargo or a sanction would be 10 times worse if all of those countries were part of that digital currency.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. would just have to click a button, freeze all your assets. What would happen to an entire government of a country if they just said, nope, you're not buying. Nope, you're not selling. Nope, you don't have access to your money. The government of a whole country can't do that? People would go crazy.
It's destabilization at your fingertips.
And that's why you have BRICS rising up. And remember, at the summit they had in South Africa, the one that they said if Putin shows up, they were going to arrest him and try him in international court. That's why BRICS is a viable alternative. And there are talks for them to create a currency recognized within BRICS. Remember, OPEC, most of the members of OPEC are aligned with or waiting to get on board with BRICS. OPEC controls the price of oil, right? They're mainly the Middle Eastern countries, so-called Middle Eastern countries. So that being said, is there any more on the CBDC, or is that in a short? Okay, let's go back. So now we understand that the central bank's digital currency is something that the dollars now meaning when that goes full, your money's not. You can have $100,000 in dollars. It's worth nothing now. It'll be converted over to a digital value, and everything you have is done. This can happen in our lifetime. And when we come back to the second part of the show, they already have been doing it for years in China. And we're going to show you it's going to be interesting.
And I would like to see what the digital currency is backed by.
Yeah,
they can say what the value of it is. It's on a computer.
Yep. It's a modern phenomenon that you could have a. That's why when they made the first money, the money was the value. It was a gold coin. That was the value. When the U.S. moved away from not having the paper tracked to a value, it destabilized the whole world. But if you the king of the castle and you sit on many waters, you don't care because, okay, you want to call on your debt. Here you go. You just go steal some more, create another war. That's exactly what they do, okay? Back to the woman. I'm going too slow. Let me pick it up.
For being here. In this video, I will share the latest on CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. I think there is some confusion about the recent bill that seeks to ban the Fed from issuing its central bank digital currency, and so I will try to hopefully provide some clarity. The House Financial Services Committee advanced a bill. You can see it on your screens right now, and I will also link it down below for you. The bill that seeks to block the Federal Reserve from being able to issue a central bank digital currency.
Pause. I'm going to tell you, these are the people that don't want that. The same people that are related to Paul Revere. Paul Revere's relatives. A lot of these good old, these Proud Boys, a lot of these conservative, they don't want that. A lot of these white folks are going to fight that, right? But they're not going to be able to fight the dragon, because the dragon, these elites, they don't give a damn about these peons that make under $1 million. They don't care about them. These so-called patriots. Now, Trump is a man of the patriots, and that's why they're going to do everything they can to throw his ass under the bus and gag him in court and convict him to do whatever they can, because as cool as Trump is, Trump ain't got no real power. He don't have real power. The people that are trillionaires that set industry for countries, they are the ones who control, and Satan set them up. Now, play on with this woman, and I'm going to move on to, damn, you know what? Play on.
Signed into law. It's still in its relatively early stages, but it has gained a tremendous amount of support. Reportedly, 60 members of Congress support it. There are other sponsors as well, such as 2 bankers associations. The bill was passed out of the Financial Services Committee and reported to the House floor. Representative Tom Emmer, a Republican from Minnesota, introduced the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act once again. He tried to introduce it back in February of this year, and it did not get much traction, so this time around it did. Here's what the proposed legislation would do. It would amend the Federal Reserve Act to officially prohibit the Federal Reserve from, quote, issuing a central bank digital currency or any digital asset that is substantially similar.
What I want you to see is that this has been put to the House of Representatives. Some are trying to make this a law. There is a pushback that they do not want this implemented because they know that their privacy is going to be violated. The point is, it's only so long that they can be able to resist this. That's the point. It's already, they're just waiting for it to clear. You got the Congress, you've got the Senate, the House of Representatives. I'm not a perfect legislative master here, but the bottom line is it has to go through checks and balances before it becomes actual law. And there's a lot of Caucasians that are going to fight against this, but guess what? A lot of this, it's beyond their control. All right, now, we're going to move on. Go to, I want to try to keep your time. Go to the next one. Yes, number 6. We're going to go from 0 minutes to 41 seconds, and we'll jump into 2:50 to 5, and then we'll go to Bible verses, and we'll come back, and we'll deal with, I didn't get to where I wanted. Shit. Damn. All right. Why do we keep? Okay. This guy talks fast, but he got a lot to say.
For the first time in 45 years, the U.S. Treasuries now have a higher downside volatility than gold.
Stop. And I watched this like 5 times. I had to get this to sink through. The first time in 45 years, listen to what he's saying. So for 45 years, the white man in America printed money that the world recognized more than gold. Do you understand? That's sorcery. What's manipulation? It's military power. Strong arming people, right? It's like being a modern day global Debo. Gold, I got a piece of paper that's not backed by nothing, and I make all of you realize this is worth more than that. This is the type of gangster you're dealing with. Okay, Esau is this white man in America. This is a special type of guy. Play on.
For the first time in 45 years, the U.S. Treasuries now have a higher downside volatility than gold. And when you think about Tier 1, when you think about the fact that the central banks have been using the Western suppression of the gold market to accumulate gold.
Pause. This is how evil they are. They talk about their evil so smooth. He said, the Western suppression of gold. The West, meaning they suppress gold throughout all the markets. And when Nixon did that, now if you whatever you have, you cannot trade your U.S. currency in for precious metals. That's why they, with Gaddafi was trying to change that. Gaddafi was too small time. This BRICS, eventually, if they get all these countries on board, if they can control that oil, they may be able to create a currency recognized that could slowly replace the dollar backed by precious metals. And that's going to be the war. It's like Officer Micah said, 3 show, 2, 3. It's not going to be, it will be some fronts with bombs. It's the war of economics and the war of attrition, wearing them down, you know?
Hey, Cap.
Yes, sir.
It said the Western suppression of gold, right? But meanwhile, Fort Knox is one of the most heavily guarded facilities in the world. And what's in Fort Knox? Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Why is gold so heavily guarded if it's nothing? This is the slick devil we're dealing with.
You damn right. You damn right.
Can I get a scripture? Let's get Revelation 17:12.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
It said they receive power as kings for 1 hour with the beast. That's the NATO countries. They receive power as kings for a short time with the beast. Because, I mean, from 1776 to today, it's a relatively short time when you look at the whole span of history on kingdoms that have reigned on the earth. It's a short time. But watch this. Jump down to verse 17. This is why they were able to reign 1 hour with the beast.
Verse 17. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will.
God put it in their hearts to fulfill his will by doing what? Read.
And to agree.
And to agree with the beast. Read.
And give their kingdom unto the beast.
And they gave their kingdom unto the beast. How did they do that? Through economics. They said, you know what? We're going to have your money as our reserve currency. Whatever rules that you make, we're going to follow those rules. But eventually, those kingdoms or those kings are going to come right from underneath this rule, and they're going to start to make war with her. Read.
Until the words of God shall be fulfilled.
Until the prophets come and do what they're supposed to do. So these things it's written to happen. Don't fight it. Just understand, like the scriptures say, watch and pray. There's heavy stuff what you going over, Cap.
Hey, check this out. So did you go to 41 seconds? Okay, we're going to go to 41, then we're going to jump to 250 to 5 minutes, because what is said next is very important for us as the Israelites, how we can prepare. How do we prepare? We want things that, irregardless of currency, irregardless of what the market is, volatile, bear market, bull market, if you have assets, if you have things that are real in your hand that you can work, okay? Play.
Still rising. The moral of the story is that we now have an environment where treasuries are considered more volatile than gold. And these central banks are shedding U.S. treasuries in favor of gold.
Pause.
Which is not
Today, Iraq, today's news. Iraq in January of 2024 no longer is dealing with the U.S. dollar. Why is that important? Because now all of these Arab countries are seen to, well, at least it seems for now, prophecy is undeniable. We don't know if it's going to be this year, 2, 5, 10 years. They are joining together. And guess what? When you have a force like Russia and China as the two main guys in BRICS, in India, there's more stability than just a guy, Gaddafi, trying to link up North Africa. This is much bigger than Gaddafi, all right? The Lord is sanctioning all this. Next, skip ahead.
I've talked about maybe that started this entire
Pause. Are we at 250 now? Okay, good. What he's about to talk about, I want to just, before we go to Bible verses, this is very important. He's going to talk about BRICS. He's going to talk about shedding U.S. treasuries for gold. And he's going to talk about the things that oh, God, I got to, okay, let's play this quick.
As I used to call it, a linear progression of events, is the Tier 1 revision of gold. And in April of 2019, gold was revised as Tier 1. Now, prior to that, since the end of World War II, it was U.S. dollars and U.S. treasuries.
Pause. Why? Because when you drop the bomb, you get the understanding, don't mess with me. I'm telling you, you're going to use my currency. Yes, sir. No, we don't want to cross you. Since 1945, and then the next major turn for strengthening the dollar was the petro deal with Nixon, and then they took when they took the Federal Reserve off of a gold standard to a just backed by this U.S. Treasuries. Treasury is a promissory note, okay? Play on.
Keep that in mind. As we mentioned, you have all the BRICS countries shedding treasuries in favor of gold. And this is really crucial, what I'm about to say, and that is that for the first time in 45 years, the U.S. treasuries now have a higher downside volatility. This is a dynamic move where capital is moving away from, fixed income holdings. And I think what you're seeing is a whole new shift. And what's that going to do to the 60-40 portfolio model? Does that mean we're going to start to see gold replace the 40% in U.S. treasuries at some point? I'm not quite sure, but certainly I thought that caught my eye quite a bit when we saw how many countries were shedding their U.S. treasuries. And
so pause. We'll stop right there. Today, it was announced that Iraq, what will it be in 2 weeks and 3 weeks? Now, before we go to I got to do one more. This go to number 7. Let me see something. Number 7. I got it perfectly marked, 0 to 250. And then we're going to go from 305, then we'll go right to Officer Mikhail, because this is very important what he's about to go over. This is Mr. Jim Rickards, all right? He's talking about this potentially is the worst crash in human history. First, pardon me, The Late Show, y'all. Stay with us.
1998, 2008. We're going to get to a point we may be there where the crisis is actually bigger than the Fed, bigger than the Fed's ability.
See the guy that's sitting at the table? He was the guy we played first. You have to worry. Don't rewind it. We opened up first with the chair of the Federal Reserve. In 2001, he talked about they're very strongly planning the potential to move to the U.S. to digital currency. Now he's right there. I think he has the red tie on. This is a boardroom, and they're talking about, let's see what they're talking about. Play on.
We're uncomfortably close. Now, it's impossible to know exactly how close because it's a complex dynamic system, and you can make very good predictions on complex dynamic systems as to the magnitude of the crisis, but it's very hard to get the exact timing. But I can say that we're uncomfortable because, now, we've been there twice before in recent years.
So, real quick, twice before was in 98, and then again in 2008. 2008, this economy was crushed. They had all the bailouts of the motor companies. Like 40% of Americans lost their house. I lost my house. Half the people on my block lost our houses. Couldn't afford to pay the damn mortgage when they reset the rates. Play on.
we came within hours of shutting every market in the world. It began with a Russian default, by the way. August 17th, 1998, Russia defaulted on their external debt, and the ruble was grossly devalued. That started a global liquidity crisis, went around the world, ended up in my lap.
So in 98, Russia's economy just basically went under. Because of what happened to the ruble, it literally, it affected every other market, okay? So we almost just had 3 days ago a government shutdown, okay? That would have affected the entire world, okay? So he's talking about 98. Now it's a little bit dry. Play on.
Management, where we had $1.4 trillion of derivatives, and everyone goes, oh, you know, long-term capital, you guys lost a lot of money in Russia. We didn't. We lost maybe $100 million in Russia, but we lost closer to $4 billion on everything else, because in a liquidity crisis, people sell everything. It's not a question of, do you have Russian bonds? It's like, no, they sell everything. Spreads widen, not enough collateral, margin calls.
That's why China and Russia are selling their U.S. debt. They're selling their U.S. debt and going to a holdings of gold and precious metals. This is what they're talking about. There's going to come a crash that is going to be worse than the 2008 crash. This is what he's going to prepare you for. We're almost done. Play with this part of the show.
That's what a global financial crisis looks like. We cured that with a $4 billion all-cash injection sponsored by the Federal Reserve and 2 rate cuts, one on an emergency basis by Alan Greenspan. We got through that, but
this guy's name is Alan Greenspan. You heard his name all the time. The reason why this country and the world economy did not implode is because the Federal Reserve gave huge relief to major corporations, right? Huge. Remember Obama was in office? They did that, and they saved the U.S. dollar. They saved the economy. Because remember, they said when a currency and debt gets called in, everybody sells what they have. They liquid just to save themselves. And the Fed said, oh, we're going to be the big savior. We're going to pump in all this capital, and you don't have to pay this back. And they stabilized it, and then they came out of the recession. What is going on now, which almost was the government shutdown, this is what he's talking about. I'm being long-winded, but he's going to talk about something. How should we prepare? Play on.
Of shutting every market in the world. Same thing in 2008. We all know, September 15, 2008, Lehman Brothers. Okay. People don't realize that, Morgan Stanley was days away from failing. Goldman Sachs was days away from failing. John Mack said so at the time. He said Lehman was begging for help. He said, sorry, I got enough on my plate. We're worried about Morgan Stanley right now. And then the Fed came in. And so think of it as dominoes are falling. So all the dominoes are falling, and they're going to keep falling unless you truncate it, drop a wall in. And that wall was the Fed. But here's my point. Each bailout gets bigger than the one before. Each crisis is more dangerous than the one before. You want assets that are going to be immune from a global liquidity crisis.
Pause. This isn't. He talks so monotone. He said there's going to come a time when you're going to have a crash in the market that the Federal Reserve can't fluff out. And he's in his monotone, financial, non-emotional voice, he's telling you some keys. What we as Israelites, we need to do this. Listen to what he's going to say.
And real estate, gold,
you got to go
silver.
back a little bit, because I want you to understand that. Remember, it says that Esau is wiser than Daniel, right? Esau will give us clues on what to do, and it's all in the Bible, because we need certain things. We should not. That's why you brothers, that you get these new cars, you concerned with clothes, you concerned with, that's not important. Okay, you need things that are going to hold long term. They're going to hold their value long term. Okay, and this is not our rest. Don't put your trust in possessions. Okay, but we want to have a place to have Passover. What happens? It becomes so expensive to rent a hall going forward in the future. Well, we're going to have all these little teeny. No, we need. Play it again.
dangerous than the one before. You want assets that are going to be immune from a global liquidity crisis. What are they? Land, real estate, gold.
This is what he said. He says, you want assets that are going to be immune from a global liquidity crisis. That's what they just avoided by almost shutting down the U.S. government. When the next crash comes, which is going to be bigger than 2008, we need to have things that are going to be immune, meaning resist. This is what the white man telling you, play.
You know, fine art. I see Andy Warhol, Marilyn Monroe has gone, they estimate $200 million. You could have bought that for $50,000 in the 1970s. That's a little more specialized, but there are, natural resources, water, et cetera, energy, oil. If you want to be in stocks, okay, get stocks of companies that are based on natural resources. They're such as ExxonMobil, Chevron. I mean, I'm just giving these as an example, but there are a lot of ways to protect yourself. But, a regular stock portfolio is not a good one. And, banks are going to be in distress.
Okay, pause. In the interest of time, we're going to stop here before we go to the Bible verses. Understand this. This is why when Jeremiah said, build your houses, get your gardens and plant, eat the fruit up. We're in captivity. All you brothers and sisters, listen very carefully to me. First of all, don't trust in me. Trust in the Most High God. You need land. Land is something you can control. Food. You can control. You can build certain things there. If it's a fan and people lose their houses like in 2008, we may have to come together and live together like we did in the wilderness. That may have to happen in time. And we may have to have places where we come together, build smaller places to live, and grow our own food and come together and eat in the communal setting. That's what God did, and with his teepees in the villages, that's what we did. And every other time in history, we lived together. Now in Babylon, he lives over in this city. We don't even live close to each other, except shout out to OKC. We're going to have to come together. The chief things, water, food, we need to have these. That's why we talk about these community gardens, learning how to pickle, preserve, can, dehydrate foods, get them to last, get non-GMO seeds, okay, get heirloom seeds that once we grow the crop, we can now bring to seed and save those seeds. The Lord give us everything we need. Don't put your trust in these markets. They are going to fail, all right? So with that, when we come back for the second half of the show, after Bible verses, the break, and Kingdom Music, we're going to go a case study look at China and the social credit score. Stick around, y'all.
Let the streets bring it out. They don't like that. No count. We ain't lying. We ain't flying. A broad line crouching down. They don't like that. The trouble Judah want to do this. We gon' fight back. Yeah, your pastor know we lying. Talking about he know the scriptures like a butcher, so I keep a knife. Pull it out and cut him when it's wartime spiritual. Praying for my son and them. Praying for my aunties and my uncles and my cousins. Let the streets bring it out.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ blessed. It's your brother, Officer Mikael, and this is the Bible verses. Down with the swirl. Hey, y'all play that first video.
Over the weekend, Terrell Owens had everyone talking after having a conversation about dating outside of his race while on Instagram Live with Chad Ochocinco. Owens would say he didn't have the best experience with black women growing up, which caused him to venture outside his race to explore other options.
My experiences with black women growing up wasn't so good. When I started dating white girls, my first experience with white girls is when I went to college. I tried to date some black girls when I was in college. They did not like me. I was skinny. I was strong. I was teased from high school, even to college. I got teased for being dark-skinned. So there was a lot of self-esteem issues. When I got my opportunity, when my first experience with a white girl, I was like, okay, it wasn't bad. I just totally gravitated to white girls after that. Right. That wasn't the situation. So again, my experiences with black women growing up wasn't so good. But that still didn't deter me from still dating or pursuing black girls.
Now, of course, this didn't sit well with many black men and black women on social media. There were some who called out Owens for what he said, while others defended Owens' experience and considered his comments just as his experience. One user on Twitter would write, "Self-hating men like Terrell Owens should say how they hate themselves and their skin instead of trying to down and disrespect black women. You not dating, preferring black women has nothing to do with us and everything to do with you." Another opposing Owens would say, "Terrell Owens is full of it. There's dark-skinned girls every single day who get unpacked, are the last ones in line and still married within their race at 84%. And from the end of time, men have had more options with black women. So for you to date outside your race because you got teased, please." On the other side of the conversation, some would defend Owens and what he had to say. One user would write, "That's crazy how Terrell Owens is sharing his experience on colorism growing up. And black women are invalidating and making it about them, the same way they hate how others invalidate their experiences." Another user would write, "The same women dissing Terrell Owens for his perspective are the same ones who use the same logic to defend a Serena Williams dating out. Black men were calling her too muscular and manly, so she went where she was loved. Every lived experience is valued until it criticizes y'all." Despite not having the best relationship with black women growing up, thankfully Owens didn't let that stop him for pursuing black women like it did for some black men that hold the same feelings as Terrell. In addition to this, Owens seems to be aware of the stereotype that once a black athlete becomes successful, they often leave their partner for one of a different race.
So my thing now is, because I know there's the stigma, stereotypical of athletes to go off and make money, this and that, and date the opposite color, opposite race. But for me now, where I am, it's not even about color. It's not even about race. It's about somebody that I have some chemistry with, good energy, and I get a good vibe with.
Hey, Israel, there's a lot to unpack in this video. There's self-hatred, there's colorism, there's the nigger woman. She plays a part in it. But with all of that, is God down with the swirl? Is he all right with that? Let's go to Tobit 4 and 12. Let's see. Let's see if God's all right with you wanting to chase after Becky. Get that Tobit 4 and 12 for me.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred.
Did what?
That they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children.
Read.
And their seed shall inherit the land.
Read verse 13.
Verse 13. Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren.
Do what?
Love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, in not taking a wife of them.
So it's self-hatred if you don't take a wife of your people. God, through the prophet Tobit, told us to beware of all whoredom, and that whoredom is interracial marriage. Play the next video for me.
You dated black guys.
Loved black guys. Yeah, I did.
Hey, pause it real quick. For those that don't know, this is Jenny Ma. This is Jenny Ma. She is married / divorced, possibly not getting divorced from Young Jeezy. Let's watch what she says. Hit play.
You dated black guys.
Loved black guys. Yeah, I did. But for me, dark meat on the side, white keeps me mean and lean. You know, that's why I married white.
Hey, rewind it, because I'm pretty sure nobody heard what she said. Let's play it again.
You dated black guys.
Loved black guys. Yeah, I did. But for me, dark meat on the side, white keeps me mean and lean. You know, that's why I married white.
Pause it. Play it again, Sam. Play it again, Sam.
You dated black guys.
Loved black guys. Yeah, I did. But for me, dark meat on the side, white keeps me mean and lean. You know, that's why I married white. Man.
All right, I think y'all got it, right? Mind you, she is married to Young Jeezy, but she said dark meat on the side, and white meat keeps me mean and lean. Now, for y'all that don't know, her nationality biblically is of Moab. So let's see what the Bible says about the daughters of Moab. Can I get Numbers 25:1? Numbers 25:1. Let's see what the Bible says. Because again, this is the Bible verses. Are you down with the swirl? Read that.
The book of Numbers, chapter 25 and verse 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the
what?
And the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
With the daughters of Moab, they committed whoredom. It says whoredom. It is whoredom. God ain't down with the swirl. Why? Because deep down inside, these other races, they hate you. They can't understand your plight. They don't know what your struggle is. Becky might be nice and pleasant on the surface, but deep down inside, all she wants is that mandingo. So, look, give me Deuteronomy 7:3, and we're going to close it out right there, because God ain't down with the swirl. Deuteronomy 7:3.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Right. Read.
For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods.
So the Most High God says, do not have interracial marriages, because they're going to turn your sons and daughters away from him. And you look at the world today, right? With all this interracial marriage and all these other agendas going on, all this plays hand in hand, and the world is in chaos because we're out of order. So now they got this LGBTQ thing. They got, they can changing the kinds. But drop down to verse 6. He said, don't make marriages with them. Now watch this.
Verse
this is
6.
why.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So we're above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Therefore, we should not be marrying and mixing with them, because they are beneath us. They are beasts. They are animals. Why would you mix with an animal? And I know to some of y'all Christians, it sounds racist. It sounds racist. It sounds horrible, don't it? But guess what? It's Bible truth. And look, that's been the Bible verses. Are you down with the swirl? And the Most High, he's not. So y'all stay tuned after these commercial breaks for Kingdom Music. All right? Shalom.
The streets to bring it out, they don't like that. No cap, we ain't lying, we ain't fly, yeah. A roaring lion crouching down, they don't like that. The tribe of Judah, watch us do this, we gon' fight back. Yeah, your pastor know we lying, talking about he know the scriptures like a butcher, so I keep a knife. Pull it out and cut him with his wartime and spiritual. Praying for my son and them, praying for my aunties and my uncles and my cousins. Like the streets to bring it.
seen this neighborhood.
Oh, crazy.
It's surprising to see y'all come out here to do that, man.
Yeah, and we're a church organization. It's called Israel United in Christ.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Hey, Most High Christ bless. We're here at IUIC New Orleans in a place called Violet, Louisiana. We're here to clean up the neighborhoods where our people live at, right? And so we're coming out of New Orleans. Violet is a town probably about 20, 25 minutes southeast of New Orleans. And we're here because we want to make a difference, all right?
Gotta put in them bricks. Yeah, we gotta put in them bricks. Yeah, we stay putting in bricks. Gotta put in them bricks.
I'm be happy to see like us come together in something that's like positive.
Nobody else doing it, you know. It might motivate them to change their life.
We show the people that by renewing our minds, that we can clean up the physical trash of the neighborhood. It's symbolic, but we can clean up our minds with the trash that's been taught to us here in America. We gotta come out of that.
Niggas like to lie, and you niggas like to steal.
Yo, we go the distance, across the waters, teach our people, this is a mission. 12 tribes, worldwide, this is redemption. Yeah, this is redemption. This is redemption. We go the distance.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless, Most High in Christ bless. Those of y'all who actually congregate, tomorrow is a very special day. All right, we got a special Fix Your Face that's happening at every school in IUIC. So if you congregate, we got a message from the mighty Deacon Abiel right here.
Shalom, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Your boy made the announcements. Atlanta quit. Check it out. October 6th, y'all. We dropping the first ever listening party after schools, y'all. Original Royalty doing it big. The men's conference soundtrack is done. And guess what? It's a whole video out. That's right. We done made a whole video album. Every song got a video, and it's ready. October 6th, I want everybody at the schools, y'all. We doing this for a fundraiser, all right? So we trying to raise money for the school. Y'all know we got the land project. We trying to secure our own land, get our own stuff. Come out, support. Don't sit back. Hey, let's bring in the Sabbath together and do it right. It's going to be on Fix Your Face, y'all. We're doing big things. We're going to see who is the punkest camp. Because we tuning in live from everywhere. We don't know where we might be. We might drop in Atlanta. We might drop in LA. Who knows? We're going to see who's the most turned up, what school is doing the most. Well, all praise be to the Most High. Make sure y'all tune in. Bishop, excellent class. We out of here.
No reservations, patience be the name of the game, and we run to win the races, so they say, cause it's colored faces that lead this nation facing. This your worst nightmare.
IUIC got that vision like lace. Boots working a steady rhythm. We on go for our freedom, not planning another prison. Bro, seconds to page out. Step in front to lay out the Bible while we came out.
Freedom was supposed to be free. We pay the tab. But if you stand in the way, then you gon' rule the day when we have to dissect you. Rain fire upon the tempter. Who's hot, take the temperature.
Your pastor keep capping, he full of it. Dropping they doctrines, don't know who they fooling with. We bring the tutelage, man. Better fix face. We can make time on the grind all day. Gotta ride for the tribe, get the vines on the way. Put the bombs on the bonnet, cause them bombs gon' save. Safe. Ain't here to play. Israel United.
Hey, so if you congregate, and I'm stressing this point for a reason, because some of y'all don't congregate. If you congregate, be at your school tomorrow, because we going to get it in, all right? We're going to have a listening party where they got 12 videos for 12 songs of straight hotness coming out of Original Royalty, where we make the righteous music, all right? It's enough of all of that thought music and the drill music and all of that other stuff that's dead, all right? We make that living music. So if you congregate, go ahead, go to your school tomorrow. Stay tuned. Most High in Christ bless.
Yo, we go the distance, across the waters, teach our people, this is a mission. 12 tribes, worldwide, this is redemption. Yeah, this is redemption. This is redemption. We go the distance, across the waters, teach our people,
Welcome back for the second half of the show. Run a thumbnail real quick, because the first half of the show we talked about the digital currency, central bank CBDC. Now we're going to reverse it. We're going to go to, it's actually social credit scores, and we're going to look at China, the case study. So now we're going to get into deep of a system of social credit that's going on right now. It's pretty, a lot of us do not understand the complexities and the levels of control. Go to number, whatever I told you, 8.
So in China, for example.
Pause real quick. So this guy, this guy's name is Jordan Peterson. For an Edomite, this guy's pretty sharp. I like listening to the guy because he's interesting. He's like a white Andrew Tate in a lot of ways. He's a smart guy. But he's going to break it down in about a minute and a half or less what's going on in China. Because as we go on to the next videos, they get a little bit more in depth. Let's just let this guy tell us. He's actually a psychologist, a very celebrated psychologist in this world. And you'll see, play.
So in China, for example, God, this is going to happen here, I think, too. Although maybe people will fight it. If a traffic camera catches you jaywalking in China, the digital ID system has you. It has your blood now. It has your genetic code. It has your photograph. It can identify how you walk. So even if you can't see a face, you can be picked up by gait.
You heard that? So all of us, in the scriptures, we know gait is the way you carry yourself. So not only, this is heavy, not only is there so many surveillance cameras, even if you have a mask on, the algorithms of the AI, the artificial intelligence, can track your walk and match it up with your height to tell who you are without seeing your physical face. This level is here now, okay? Play on.
Walking and take money out of your bank account with no intermediating judiciary at all, and show a picture of you to the people in the neighborhood so they know that you have jaywalked, and reduce your social credit score. And if your social credit score falls below a certain level, then you can't buy drinks from a vending machine. You can't play video games. You can't go on a train. You can't get out of your 15-minute city. All that's already in place in China.
Now, play it one more time. He summarized it absolutely perfectly. These guys are friggin' a damn brainiac. Play it again.
So in China, for example, God, this is going to happen here, I think, too. Although maybe people will fight it. If a traffic camera catches you jaywalking in China, the digital ID system has you.
Real quick. When they say a traffic camera, later on, they get you from 3 different angles. In China, they have, by the way, I got to say this statistic right now. A medium-sized city in China is 8 million people. Shanghai, China, has 24 million people. That's 3 times the size of New York City, which New York is the largest city in the United States. Y'all been in New York. New York's huge, right? So he's explaining that they're going to get you. Even if they can't see your face with your gait, the algorithms will track you. Then they can, without a judiciary, meaning without going to court and a judge, they can say, nope, we've got conclusive evidence. Bam, go to your bank account, fine you, take it, extract it out, and then lower your social credit score. Why? Because jaywalking is bad for society. And this really, at first I'm listening. As I said, maybe this guy's exaggerating. He's not exaggerating at all. Okay, play on.
It has your genetic code, has your photograph. It can identify how you walk, so even if you can't see a face, you can be picked up by gait. It will convict you of jaywalking and take money out of your bank account with no intermediating judiciary at all, and show a picture of you to the people in the neighborhood so they know that you have jaywalked, and reduce your social credit score. And if your social credit score falls below a certain level, then you can't buy drinks from a vending machine. You can't play video games. You can't go on a train. You can't get out of your 15-minute city. All that's already in place in China.
Now, so let's go to number 9. We're going to get a little bit deeper. A little bit deeper. So now this is an excerpt from a documentary that we're going to look at in a moment. It's a documentary that China, it's called The China's Brain, a Civilian State. It's a pretty good 45-minute documentary, but now this is an excerpt from that we're going to watch. I think it's maybe 4 minutes. It's not that long. And this is, yes, please, France TV.
They're constantly monitored by facial recognition cameras that are able to instantly put a face to a name. Now the Chinese are also ranked, given a mark out of a possible 950 points. A score in the 700s is considered good. Around the 500 mark is not. For now, the number is a sort of bank credit rating, keeping track of everyone's spending habits.
I think being ranked is a good thing. A society has to have rules.
It forces us to be well behaved.
It may seem scary, but it's just like that here. We're used to it, and anyway, we don't have a choice.
But in an effort to keep all of its
because America will give you the delusion like you have a choice. The one thing about China is that the vast majority of people that live in China, their race, they're Chinese. In this country, there's a little, obviously, it's the great melting pot. So over there, they can be racist because they got power, they got money, they got control. So Chinese people being ruled by Chinese people, well, their uncles are in positions of power. How is that going to affect the Israelites? Well, people that make policy don't look like me and you. They enslaved us, they ridicule us, they hate us. So this is where we as Israelites, if this comes, you think you're going to have a high social credit score? You teaching the scriptures on the street? That's why you're going to see a lot of Israelites, they're going to come off the street. They're not going to want to teach the word anymore. And this is where you got to get your mind ready for the things that are going to come.
Hey, Cap, that's a heavy point, because I don't know if any of y'all that are watching have seen videos of black people just walking in China. Just walking in China, you get ridiculed, you get stared at, you get mistreated, all that stuff. So because you black, your social score is going to be low. Just like when they did that China lockdown, when the COVID first happened, the black people that were living in certain cities, they was getting mistreated. Those people that was from Africa that was living in China, they was getting mistreated. So how you think it's going to be with this whole social credit score thing? It's going to be a lot worse.
Hey, remember Bishop did a class a few years ago where he was showing those commercials that they have in China, and they threw the guy in the washing machine? They hate dark skin because they understand who we are.
And another thing, I don't think our people paid attention. They said if you are caught committing a crime, they could just take money out your account. Like you get, like today they have what they call like little bank fees and stuff like that. So Jacob like, well, I just take my money out of my account until like whatever gets caught up, because it might be an overdraft. You can't do that no more. That's what they going to. They just gonna go in, or you were jaywalking, all that crime going on in California, people running up in stores stealing. They tracking you. You can't run in there and snatch a Louis bag with a mask on. Like, okay, look, we know who he is. He done it 3-4 times. Let's just starve him out.
And if you look, I don't know if y'all ever in Walmart, right? They have these monitors up. If you watch, and it shows a bunch of different pictures. And at first I said, what? Why are they doing it? I could see they have little screens over people's heads. Have you ever seen that? That is the backdrop. And now when you look at these videos, they actually have the numbers above the people's heads. When we go to the next video, we're going to see an empire of computers. And remember, Chinese people and East Indian people, this is what they're doing. In China, the public school systems, they reverence their teachers. You don't find the level of debauchery that you find in American public schools. They are raised to be the future analytical scientists, computer programmers, and they have all type of structure to foster the development, right? Sony's CEO would actually go into some of these middle schools and high school classes and interact with them, because they knew that one day they'll be able to be the next CEO of these Chinese countries, these companies. Play on.
Further in 2020, it's aggregating data gathered by banks, private companies, and the state to rate if someone's a good or bad citizen.
By using the most data possible, the so-called big data, the system will play an important role in rebuilding a moral society.
The state will go over every detail of a person's life with a fine-tooth comb. Their financial situation, spending habits, career, even behavior on social media. Criticizing the government online or displaying outward signs of wealth is a no-no. On the other hand, praising the party or giving blood increases your social credit. Xiaowen Wang is a model citizen. She lives in Nanjing, a testing ground for social ranking. Married with a child, she has a job in a retirement home, no debts, and she wouldn't dream of jaywalking.
As a good citizen, I respect the rules of the road. If I didn't, I'd lose points on my social credit.
In theory, everything can be taken into account in the social score, even the most innocuous errands like supermarket shopping.
So basically, like Officer Mike was saying before, they can penalize you for breaking the law. But if you keep the law, what they're going to do is they're going to reward you. She gets half price off the bus stop. The library is free. So this is where the balance comes for Israelites. Social credit scores for us who keep the commandments, who do things that we're supposed to, that won't hurt us. The balance is going to be once we start continue to speak the Bible, when the government separates it to the point where it classifies it socially as hate speech, or then they can track everything, your videos you watch, all the different, not just social media, but the organizations you go to. If they see you out there, they can deduct your social score, which they can fine you. They can limit you from traveling one day. There's many, they can confine you to a grid area. And again, this is why we need land. This is why we need, when things get turned up, we need a safe haven to go to. This is why when the other video said, you need to get things that will be, what's the word he used? Keep you immune from when the when the global liquid market crash, liquidity, yes. Getting late. Play on. We almost done, y'all.
Payment. Her purchases tell the state a lot about her. Buying cigarettes would count against her. On the other hand, nappies show she's an attentive mother. Beer could indicate alcoholism. She'd be better off buying water. In this pilot city of 8 million people, there are only...
Real quick. You see how they said that? This is the thing. This city here is not even one of the major cities. This has 8 million people in this pilot city. They're piloting it in this city. This is the size of New York City population-wise. Y'all don't understand. When you said we're living in a bubble, we are living in a bubble of technology. They are surpassing us in every way with modern technology. They're so far ahead when it comes to the communication. Now, militarily, they're not touching the U.S., but in other ways, they're creating it. And that's why the center we did before, BRICS central bank is in China. That's the forefront. China is the one that's out there bringing Iran and Saudi Arabia again, helping Syria to understand. The whole eastern side of Africa, they control all the shipping lanes. They're the ones that's building the highways in Africa. Why? Because God is going to use them to eventually, and the Arabs, when they remember the nature, all of these things God is using. He's using to deliver us. Okay? Play on.
Citizens. For Xiaowen Wang, there are perks to be had, such as paying half price for the bus.
I get discounts for all public services, even at museums. And the library is free for me, thanks to my score.
A good score brings benefits, but people with low scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details.
So you could be at the cinema, right? And let's say, for example, you got caught jaywalking, or like they'll show you later on, There's so many people in these Chinese cities that they'll just take their trash and throw it on the street. Camera catches you from 3 angles. They go in your bank account. They find, why? Because it's digital currency. They find you 27 yen, boom, a certain number of times. Then public places where you go to entertain, to get away, like the movie theaters, they publicly shame you and list your crime. That's some doggone, what's that, with Arnold Schwarzenegger? That's like Total Recall.
Total Recall.
Go ahead.
Hey, Cap. I want everybody to, how many pictures do you think is going to be up there for us?
Oh, gosh.
Just for breaking bread.
Mm.
We got to go get wine every week.
Yeah.
Every week we go get a bottle of wine. They just said getting beer may indicate alcoholism. We could be looked at as alcoholics just for getting wine to break bread.
That's right.
So we come together on feast days just to have fun. We could be known as revelers or people that party all the time. And it's like, hey, don't trust these people. They get drunk and party all the time. And we teach the Bible. Come on now.
Here in New Orleans, people jaywalk all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be categorized as criminals. But it's a known thing in New Orleans, the jaywalk.
Remember, what's the scripture that says, good is not, oh gosh, it talks about, and it just came to me, that it's not to those who do good. It's in, is it Romans? I can't remember. Get Romans 13 real quick. The balance is a social credit score to law-abiding Israelites is not a problem. But what they can do, because remember in China, most of the people are Chinese. They love their people. The powers that be has oppressed us, has destroyed us. They will manipulate the system to target us. And that's the disadvantage. We could not jaywalk. We could buy water instead of beer. We could give blood. We could do all the things that will make you good. So, but if they assign you as the Israelites, oh, you believe that, and it's going to be taboo. You can't say that you believe in just heterosexual marriage. You can't say that you think it's wrong that a man should stay with one wife and push that on society. They're going to make that a bad thing in society. Read, please.
Book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works,
Come on.
but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power?
So they're going to make us seem evil because we want to do good, right? When you read, there's another part of the scriptures where it talks about, woe to them that call evil good and good evil. And what's going to happen is our values, we're going to have to stand on that. We'll do everything else right. We'll do all the social credit scores, norms that they want us to do. We'll keep the laws of society, but we will not back down. No, we tell people don't eat pork. Well, then that puts a stain. You're mislabeling the whole pork industry because we abstain from pork. Or if we have public things where we're talking about Leviticus, you quote certain scriptures, oh, that's bad for business. So hit his social credit score. 3 of those, fine them. All these things, and then they will put our pictures up. They will put this, the religion, Israelite. We could get to the point where we could go to the movies, the mall, the gas station, and as you pull up to do the pump, guess what happens? It'll show you a picture. They track you everywhere you go, and it's in China, it's going to come. I'm not trying to scare nobody. I'm just, this is the reality. Come on. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, they put it in the movies, like you brought up Total Recall. Will Smith did a movie, Enemy of the State. It was in there. Even the movie Hunger Games, how they restricted access to different cities and they had them in zones. That's what it's coming to.
Damn, that's heavy. Read. I think we're done. We're done that, right? Check this out. We're in interest of time. So let's finish this up, number 9, and then we're going to move on to number, and I don't have enough time to get anything else. The last one we're going to go to is going to be Officer Micah's 3, and then I want to touch on the first 4 minutes of number 2, and then we're going to close out to Larback.
Across big screens.
It's a matter of principle. Those people have to be condemned.
Those people aren't honest, so they have to pay the price.
It's only right to pay your debts. You have to blacklist those that don't.
The Supreme Court has created a blacklist for so-called bad citizens. those whose ratings have dropped to 0. On it are companies, but also 23 million people to date. Among them is this journalist Liu Hu. He got a little too close to uncovering corruption among high-profile party members. After being sued for defamation by the subject of a story he'd written, he was blacklisted. But he only realized when he...
that. You know why that's so heavy? If he's uncovering corruption amongst party members and he got blacklisted for that, that's what we do all the time when we bring out the evils of this government. It's heavy. It's heavy.
And not only that, what about the people who are like getting government assistance, people who are like struggling, people in projects, things of that sort? Well, they gonna give them like a 100 credit score or something, and then like y'all gotta figure it out. I don't think our people really are realizing the magnitude of what they're about to do.
They're the undesirables.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to be. They're going to be the undesirables, confined to one section of the city, and they're going to be written off. You saw how the other ones was talking like, well, you know, some people need to be condemned. Yeah. You know, they're a stain on our society. You gotta follow the rules. You don't follow the rules, then you got to go over there. It's like they with it. They were 100% for it.
Hey, give me that. And I have in Esdras when it talked about with Haman, and it said, these Jews are the troublemaking Jews. That's what's going to happen. And I don't know where it's at. I don't got it. Is it Esther? Thank you. Appreciate that. So it talks about we were labeled the troublemakers. Why? Because we kept the laws. That's what's going to happen. It happened in the Iberian Peninsula. It happened during the time of the the Greeks, where it was illegal to keep the laws. And if they caught us practicing, they would kill us, okay? If we would circumcise our children or we keep the Sabbath, they would kill us, okay? If you can't get it, don't worry about it.
The book of Esther, chapter 13 and verse 4. Declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there was scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations.
So now with the social credit score in these cameras, how are they determined that we're malicious people? They speak against homosexuality. They only teach heterosexuality. They have laws that said you can only eat certain fish. Social credit score, you are talking against the open market. You're saying you can only eat fish with fins and scales. What about all the other markets? You say you're against pork. That's socially unacceptable. There are so many things that they'll be able to attack us just by us. And that's why when you read in Romans 13, our rulers are not a terror to good works, but our good works is going to be flipped and talked about it like it's bad. Then they will become a terror to us. And that's when the persecution is one layer is going to come, all right? And this is why we need things that are going to be immune to the liquid default when the market goes down. That's why we need our land. We need land. We need gardens. We need to have things secure. Get your house paid off. Get out of these debt from these cars. Learn how to work the land. These are things we're going to have to do. All right, read.
And continually despise the commandments of kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms, honorably intended by us, cannot go forward. Seeing that we understood that this people alone is continually in opposition.
What is that? I'm sorry, Mike. What does that mean? He said the united of the kingdom. This is how the United States, when the dollar crashes, they're going to resurface the reuniting of the kingdom of America is going to be one currency, one score. It's a time for everybody to reset themselves. But those troublemaking Jews, those Israelites that keep pushing that Bible, and they're going to label us the malicious ones. We're the ones that are causing problems, and we're the stain that's stopping the kingdom from uniting. And by the way, you dumb Negroes out there who are Egyptologists, they're going to label all of us together. You're just as undesirable as the Israelites. That's why all we need to come together and learn the commandments and keep the commandments. It doesn't matter if you're black Christians too, you simple ones. You black Islamic, nation of Islam, we're all the same. We're the undesirable ones. The social credit score is going to hurt you too. Okay, there'll be a couple sellouts that'll get a good social credit score. He'll be the taskmaster. He'll be the Uncle Tom. All right, is that it on that?
No, sir. Differing in the strange manner of their laws, and evil affected to our state.
So he's telling you in the same sentence that their laws are evil on the rest of society. Why? Because we will not bow down to the fact that, like with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they would not bow down when they played the song for, was it Belteshazzar? That's exactly what it was. And they didn't want to bow down because that was idolatry. Just like when the old brother would not eat the pork. He said, I'll give you beef. I'm not putting the impression. That's a Greek trouble. That's a Jew troublemaker over there. We're not going to bow. No, we don't. No, we don't. I don't. Listen, I can say it any way you want. It's wrong for a man to lay with another man. It's wrong for two women. That's wrong. I said it nice, didn't I? Doesn't matter. Social credit score takes a hit. That's what's coming. In China, even a journalist who's a lot of schooling, makes decent money, he got blacklisted. I mean, his social credit score got down to 0. Why? Because he went against the powers, even though he's Chinese. But later on, he gets it lifted. But the bottom line is that they'll do that for their race. They're not going to do that for you. So, is that it on that? I think that's it. We're moving out of time. Go up to number, Officer Mike is number 3. Here's an example. Mike, you can break this down. This is beautiful because you get into it.
到了一台自
Yeah, so this is an example of what Cap was bringing out. You actually have to use your smart device with your social credit score to purchase the basic items that you need. So go ahead and play it real quick.
打开微信扫码开门。这里支付分需要550以上，第一次购买需要申请授权，然后开门，选取自己想要的商品就好了。
Hey, pause that real quick. This is actually here right now in the United States. This is actually at the place where I'm employed. They have something in place like this right now in the break room. Wow. It's here. Go ahead.
And then, Jake, our people are so narrow-minded. They don't understand that you could literally go to sleep and wake up and your social credit score could be down to 0 because you say, oh, wow, I'm sovereign. Negro, you broke now. They don't care. Like I'm telling you, it's going to hit our people. Our people don't get it. Like Cal was saying, I'm sovereign, I'm Egyptologist. Oh, so you're speaking against the government. Okay, well, Mr. Sovereign, your stomach's going to growl, and they're going to take your money.
So it just showed the video of that lady successfully retrieving the stuff out of that door because something clicked, her social credit, she had a certain amount of money. But what happens if you are blacklisted or you have a lower score? They're saying you can't buy from vending machines, nor take the train, nor get a taxi, nor go to the movies. The list goes on and on. Okay, this is biblical. And here's the thing: a lot of us are 30s and 40s. When you was a boy, we probably could never picture this happening, and now it's here 35, 40 years later. Okay, play on. Are we done with that? Yeah, Michael, read the description, please.
China is revamping its social credit system to include their central bank digital currency. Now, a minimum social credit score of 550 is required to buy food from vending machines in China. These vending machines run on WeChat, a Chinese digital wallet. Are you ready for this system in the U.S. and Europe? It will use to determine how far from home you can travel. If you get outside of your approved area, you will need an extra carbon allowance for travel. Otherwise, your money won't work.
Wow.
15-minute cities.
Imagine us that's traveling to do the work.
Uh-huh.
Imagine the blitzes. Imagine going from one state to another just to teach. Or going to a new area we haven't taught yet. More than the allowed distance.
Hey, you know, a form of that is, and this happened in the last year, is a driver's license now is required to be a real ID. And I think they postponed it another year. But you're not going to be able to get on a domestic flight going from Texas to Arkansas or California to Rhode Island if you do not have a real ID. So all of that is slowly coming up. You set up to make your job, which is we're not going to say it's a major company that builds very important technological for certain branches. And if they're doing that there, it's coming to other places. It's coming to school cafeterias. It's coming.
Cap, I just want to read one scripture real quick. 2
Yes.
Ezra chapter 15, verse 17, hidden right what you said. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
15-minute time.
That's
That's
perfect.
it.
The Lord got all this. Listen, we're gonna do one more. Damn it, I wanted to get. So I want let's go to number 2, and this is a documentary. I would advise all you to watch it. It's 45 minutes. We're only gonna do the first 4 minutes, and we're gonna go to break. I'm not even gonna go to the first 4 minutes. It's China's brain. We're gonna look into the surveillance room in the headquarters, if you will. Play. Look at the size of that friggin' monitor.
Here in this Shanghai surveillance center, no resident goes unwatched. Hundreds of millions of cameras are installed all over China.
We have algorithms that automatically recognize certain behaviors. If someone isn't wearing a mask, for example, we immediately detect this wrongdoing.
No one can escape the camera's gaze, even when taking out the trash.
Pause real quick. See what he just did? He think he's getting away with it, right? There's cameras everywhere. So what's going to happen is that will recognize it. It will pull his name. They can. Now I don't know what year this happened, but if they are to the digital currency, they can. That's illegal dumping. They'll have a term. It does not go to the judge. They say the fine is 100 yen, whatever the hell it is. They subtract that from his account. And why? Because it's a digital central currency. Then they bring his social credit score down just by doing that. And this is real. And this is look at how the box is. It's an algorithm that tracks, and it sees it. And it all automatically computes it without people have. It picks that up. Now as it gets this algorithm, it makes it easier next time to pick up another person throwing trash because the algorithms improve on each other. That's AI, artificial intelligence, meaning the intelligence, the data that it gathers, what it does is it makes itself more proficient. I'm telling you, Esau is Satan behind all this, okay?
That's Eagle Eye.
Yes.
That's Eagle Eye.
And
if y'all never saw that movie, that is Eagle Eye.
And let's say he has 600 yen in his account, and he just threw that bag down right there. And let's say his rent was 500 yen.
Yep.
But you just threw a bag down. They just took 200 yen from you. Now you might get thrown out your house. You might get evicted.
I'm gonna tell you something. This, I hope this doesn't come, but I believe it's going to be inevitable because it's not just China. There's starting parts of this in some, I believe, Germany and other countries. They're already implementing this. China just has both. It has the social credit score and the central currency. Okay, so let's play on, and then we're going to move on.
China affect Germany too. Chinese corporations have long been amassing troves of user data.
I don't have control over where my data is sent, whether it's to the US, China, or wherever.
Modern technology has its advantages, from cashless payment to internet-equipped cars. We're heading full throttle into a high-tech future, but at what cost? The Yu family embraces all the latest tech. The world's evolving, and Father Chunwei believes it's best to keep up. Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok, is a favorite source of entertainment for 10-year-old Manfei and her parents.
We watch videos of friends. That was just a friend's young daughter, for example.
So, look, y'all, when you get a chance, watch this documentary. It goes into different scenarios where they show you the positive side. They show you this family is an upper middle class family and how it benefits them. And then it also shows you like the journalist whose whole life was affected. He was blacklisted. He can't even move really within 15 minutes or so. And Shanghai, China, y'all, has 24 million people in the city. And the social credit score is needed over there because they have much less crime than we have over here in cities of a quarter of that. So when it comes here, the reason why we're going over this is because when it comes here, it is going to be used, it can be used to help certain parts of society. It can create more lawless society because now they can fine you. People can be less likely to jaywalk, less likely to illegal dump, blah, 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 less likely to mug or rob. But they can use it to target politically the people that they want to silence. And that's where we have to be strong when that comes our way. So, look, I didn't get to everything tonight. We didn't get to everything tonight. All praise to the Most High. We'll probably go into a little bit more next week. Actually, no, we're going to be, we'll be in not quite yet. I think we're good. We got one more show. And then Tabernacles is coming up. But hey, listen, like Officer Matt was going over, tomorrow night it's going to be live. We're going to have the Righteous Listening Party. Y'all show up and enjoy yourself. So with that, thanks to the late show. I know a lot of you can't stay up. I get it. We're all tired. Stick around for the help section. Live back attack. Another edition of the Larback Attack where we get loose and we get serious for the beginning, and then we make fun of fat people because it does feel pretty good. Why? Because we make great choices and are not a Lardback. Yes, am I a broken record? You better believe it. Because guess what? They got all Christmas stuff up in the stores right now, and Halloween stuff is driving me crazy. They don't forget to remind you that crap, okay? Sirach chapter 30, verse 6, I think it is. Let me see it. 30 and 6. I don't want 30, 25. Let me see 30, verse 5.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 5.
No, I'm sorry. Bear with me. 14, I'm sorry, 14.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 14. Better is the poor, being sound and strong of constitution, than a rich man that is afflicted in his body.
Read it again.
Better is the poor.
Now, not very many Israelites in this truth are going to have money. Most of us are poor. You go a week, a month without pay coming in, that's your ass. Read it again.
Better is the poor, being sound and strong of constitution.
What does that mean, strong and of sound constitution? Meaning that your mental faculties, your body is strong. Read on.
Than a rich man that is afflicted in his body.
Well, somebody, like there's, there was a show called, is it not Family Guy? The Simpsons. And the guy, Mr. Smithers, he's always got a problem. Got big money, but he's always got a problem with his health. Smithers, right? We want to be strong in our bodies, and the way you're going to get that is, yes, we got to keep the commandments first and foremost. We got to take care of the vessel. The body is your vessel. Another term for body is your vessel. Your vessel houses your spirit. Yes, and guess what? We all are work in progress, every one of us. It's not an attack on anybody specifically. Verse 15.
Verse 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold.
So your health and your is assigned with health and good estate of body. So your health is linked with your body. And there's a whole bunch of scriptures outside of Leviticus 11 that talk about your health. We're reading one of them. Read on.
And a strong body above infinite wealth.
So a strong body above infinite wealth. I love that movie, The Goonies, when Chunk and them is driving down the slide and they get to the pirate ship, and that's infinite wealth, billions and billions of dollars. The Lord said that your health, read it again.
Health and good estate of body are above all gold.
Above all gold. That's the top goal, but he says something else.
And a strong body above infinite wealth.
So in order to have a strong body, your health has to be in order. You can't be a strong body and be full of sickness and disease. So this is why the information that comes out about when Bishop Nathaniel has taught us, I've been hearing this for almost 17 years, the same scriptures, that's better than being a Donald Trump guy, better than being Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. It's better than that, okay? Now, get me Sirach 30 and 25.
Book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 25. A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
You know what that means? If you are not taking care of your meat and diet, you do not have a cheerful spirit. You may smile a lot, you may do it, but you're not happy. Because you get home, and I know a lot of you lardbacks try to play the game. You get home, you don't like to look yourself in the mirror. Okay, you're disgusted with yourself. So what you do is it's a vicious cycle of eat and repeat. Eat and repeat. Go on a diet, cheat. Cheat, eat, and repeat. You disgusting fat back lard ass. It's not my fault. I don't feel guilty. Okay? Read it again.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
Meaning you don't care about yourself. You don't care about yourself. And I don't care. I hear a lot of fat people. I heard this growing up. This is what a lot of you fat people say. Well, you know, it's a sickness of my glands and my thyroid. There's nothing I really can do about it. Oh, yeah? So you telling me your glands are what's making you eat 4 or 5 times? It's your glands, right? Every lard back on the planet Earth can lose the weight. You might now, some of you, now I know one fat dude, he had a valid point. He said his medicine slows down his progress. Yeah, it could slow down a little bit, but it will not stop you, okay? It is your mind that must be changed. Read it again. We're almost done.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
So you have to have a care of your meat and diet. Why? Because we want to go back to 15. We want to have that good estate of body. We want to have a strong body. And we're going to get that with the foods that we eat and the infrequency of how often we eat. It's better to eat less frequently than more frequently. Again, I'm going to say the same thing. You have the American judiciary system. The penal system, the U.S. military, the public school system, all teaches you 3 meals a day. But in particularly, it's actually more than that because you have snacks, you have a thing called brunch, you have dinner, and you have dessert. Most Americans eat between 3 to 5 times a day. You're killing yourself. Even if you're eating healthy foods, that's wrong. Go to less frequent eating because there's a thing called insulin resistance. You want your insulin spikes, insulin's a hormone, you want your insulin to be very sensitive. When it becomes resistant, that's when diabetes 2 comes on. That's pre-diabetes, that's obesity. Because now, there's no, you can't have the insulin spikes. That's why you get diabetic. You have a problem because you just change the whole damn thing. Read it again, we're going to move on.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
Now, you can choose. I'm going to keep talking about the same thing. If you lard asses want to lose weight, try, number one, find a physician that you trust and tell them you want permission to eat healthy keto. This is what healthy keto is. It's the elimination of complex, sugary carbohydrates that are fast digesting that spike your insulin right away. It's the elimination of processed foods for the most part. So here's an example of healthy keto. You'll have a bunch of vegetables in your plate: Brussels sprouts, kale, arugula, cabbage, onions, bell peppers, and you could cook them with grass-fed butter. You can use olive oil. Then you would have some sort of meat, pure protein, like a fatty fish, like salmon or halibut. You can have eggs, the whole egg. Okay, you can have grass-fed beef. Just look it up. And then for your dessert, you can have berries. If you do that and eat that one time a day, you are going to lose all the weight and get super healthy. Try it. Try it, try it, try it. People that try it, I got one lard back right now. He's down 61 pounds in under 9 weeks. Why? And he said, my whole life is changing. He says, I didn't think that this could happen. Why? Because he's just being consistent every day. And after a while, the hunger cravings go away. Why? Because think about it. Think about this. This is a candle, right? It's filled with wax. The wax is the energy that lights the flame. As you light that flame, what happens to the solid wax? It gets uploaded and liquefied, and as you burn down, the energy gets burned down. There's no more friggin' wax anymore. Where did it go? It changed through the energy of the flame. That's what getting in ketosis is. You use your fat. That's good. That's your good fat. That fat helps. No, fat's not good, but that is good when you can take the fat. That's like your wax. It's going to burn. You can do it. You're choosing not to. And this is the solution. That's why I walk up. I'm in person. I walk up to all of y'all, and I check your spirit. I challenge all of you. A lot of you don't like me, and that's okay. But the ones that you are going to do it, and let me tell you why you're going to do it. Because if you don't, you're going to have a freaking stroke. You're going to have a heart attack. We had like 4 or 5 heart attacks this year. Didn't have to happen. Okay? Now, all right, the serious time is over. And I go back and watch that, make sure, am I just being, no. You need to hear this. It's your fault at home, the reason why you're a disgusting fat lot. Not my fault. What are you going to do about it? You're going to get off your doggone, your guilt, self-induced friggin' victimization and do something about it? You damn selfish lardback. Or you will be the subject of all future Urians. Disclaimer, Urian is what we say in Israel for a fat joke. Okay? Yes, I created it and will not back down. Shout out to Urian, one of the greatest singers in Israel. The arm goes up, the laughs come out. Pull the first one. Now pause real quick. This is not Big Pun resurrected. That's the first thing I thought I know. Now, all of you should be thinking the same thing. What I want to know is what type of wood is that board made out of? I'm thinking of the black walnut. It's, I think, one of the hardest woods on the planet Earth. Yeah, shittim wood. It's biblical. It's some sort of, maybe it's petrified wood from the petrified forest in California. Not sure, but no matter what, we're very impressed with God's engineering because that wood is a very hard, dense wood. Let me digress. Take a look at this morbidly obese bunch of fun here, okay? Play the video. Oh, wait, stop. No one says lard asses cannot balance. We will not say. The lard back has a lot of talent. He's also got a lot of extra calories. This is a smooth 400-pounder right here. That lard ass, hey, you know when you say, hey, that's a man's man. I said that last week. That's a lard ass's lard ass right there. That's the one the fat people be sitting around, but yo, he really is fat. You know, that a guy that's 100 pounds overweight looks at that guy and be like, damn, I ain't that bad. That's a lard ass's lard ass. 2 cheeseburgers away from a friggin' open heart surgery, okay? Play. Now, wait. Yeah, the explosion was an excellent after effect. But that lard bag thrusted 400 pounds in a complete reverse somersault as a backflip. And here's the thing. It goes back to being hated. All the people in the water, they're not looking anywhere else but at the lard bag. Everybody at the whole park stopped. Why? They're like, damn, what's going to happen? Look at them all. Look at them, all in the water. They all are looking at the lard bag. Even the ones way over there. They all say, Jenny, look, the fat one's going to jump. All of them do that. They wouldn't do that for someone that's ripped. It's just another ripped guy doing a backflip. Okay, this guy is a morbidly obese sack of blubber, lard, and he's very coordinated, though. Play it again. Pause. Notice there is echoing in stereo. That means all the way around the lake, everyone is in on it. You can hear it, right? Yeah, come on, yeah. The lardback, he feels great. He feels very important, but really they're mocking him. Okay, how many meals did it take for that lard bear? How many times did he sit down and keep stuffing his big fat pie hole? Well, there you have it. There's a result of a lardback. Play on. Okay, that's excellent. We love that. Now, yes. I remember, I think it was at men's conference. We were all gathered around in a congregation where the captains were gathered around. We were drinking, I believe, Coke Zeros and just having a great time, telling endless urions. It was, listen, if you lard asses want to stay lard asses, you're going to get urion. You're going to get urions told on you all day. So don't lose the weight. You're making myself, all of us in here, though, except for the resident lardback, Asa, Gabe, and Akiem, all of us are happy. Why? Because we're pretty much ripped, and we don't have double chins or double guts or double backs. Now, this was sent to me. There's a swear, so if you have any kids, especially fat kids, put them in the room. I know you're going to need a couple extra seconds to get the big fat ones off the couch. But this guy is actually, I think he's aligned with the Tate brothers. They're affiliated with one another. He's a straight shooter, this guy. He is going to actually say a cuss word, so if you have the kids in the room, and he's going to get on fat people. So it's not just myself and other, health crusaders. This guy is a fat shamer, okay? Play on.
You can't control is your fucking fitness. If I look at you and I see that your stomach is hanging over your shirt, triple chin and all this extra shit, I immediately know that you are a lazy, undisciplined piece of fucking shit. Yeah, I fucking said it. If you're fat, it's unacceptable.
Now pause. There may be a time when fat people get in power with a social credit score where he would get public points deducted from his social credit score because he shamed and ridiculed lard asses. If I was in charge of Chinese social credit score, there wouldn't be one fat. They'd be all taken down the blacklist. They would be fat listed. Now, that was wonderful. Give me the video where the Negro is actually being very clever. Now, this is a picture that's, shout out to Gold Teeth Chief that sent me that from Houston. My man. Your brother, the brother that got the gold grill. Now, say the best. Don't go to the African tribe yet. I want the picture of the damn lard ass that has the shirt with the. Yes. Now, let us all take in. You see the power of the white man in Jesus? He makes you believe that you are what you're not. We have a lot back here. The shirt says, I am fat, but identify as skinny. I am trans slender. Now, where did this lard ass learn that from? Well, the whole LGBTQ SRVQT movement. So he's not fat. He is fat, but he's identifying as skinny. He lard asses, okay? Let's just take it in for a second, okay? All right, that's enough of that. All right, now, the last one. Say you lardbacks don't want to lose the weight, and you want to stay in IUIC. There is a tribe in Africa where you can be celebrated, okay? Shout out to Officer Malachi, he sent me to this. Officer Malachi is not a lardback like some of the other lard asses down here in New Orleans. Now, I believe he rubbed some sort of mud on his skin. Because he a dark brother, right? But now, this is a lard ass. But notice, it's just the belly that's swole. How did this lardback get to be a lardback in Africa where they don't even have enough, a lot of don't even have food to even maintain basic nutritional needs? Play.
Becoming a fat man is the dream of every child in the Bodhi tribe of Ethiopia. The most desired men among women are the ones with giant bellies. To achieve this, men go for a 6-month diet where they only drink fresh milk and blood from the cows. In a festival every year, whoever has the biggest...
So, I know it's getting late. So basically what they do is this. They see who get the biggest belly, they drink, which we don't advocate drinking blood. Obviously, that's against the law. And they drink cow's milk. So you lard asses that are looking for a place to escape, right? You move over there to the Ethiopian tribe and ask to be taken in and to compete for a place in society. All right. With that, listen, we're going to end it right here. I'm Captain Shim. By the way, it's not my fault that you're disgusting, barrel-gutted, fatback, lard ass. You can do something about it. Lose the weight, 1 meal a day, healthy keto. We're going to keep talking about it to what? To Christ's return. And guess what? Gluttony is a sin, lard ass. With that, we say shalom.
Israel, give alms. You can give alms at your local school by dropping it in the alms box, put it in an envelope, put your name on it, whatever. Or you can do it online via PayPal. Hey, if y'all want to send donations to IUIC New Orleans, you can do it online via PayPal at iuic.neworleans@israelunite.org. Also, make sure y'all giving funds to the Booster Club. You can do so at iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. Hey, hurry up and give them alms before they start taking out our funds with the digital currency. Hey, look, land fund, as y'all seen today, this is very, very important. You can donate to the land fund via PayPal at israelunite.org. Make sure y'all label it land. All right, y'all, give alms.
All praise the Lord. Thank you for staying with us. Late show. Listen, share our videos, make some comments, get the algorithm going, bell notification, share us, help us get our goals. Share the show. If you have any topics, y'all want to be giving us topics. If you have topics you want us to go over, let us know. We'll look into it. We'll go over it. All right? We're Precept Upon Precept. Tomorrow night, Officer Matt, plug it again, please.
Yes, those of y'all who congregate, make sure that you are there at your school for a special edition of Fix Your Face. We're having an original royalty listening party for the men's conference album, 12 songs, 12 videos. All right?
All praise to the Most High. So with that, we are your hosts. My name is Captain Shem.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Micah.
And with that, we say
Shalom.
Shalom, Israel.
Dribble blood. I see. Look, I see matches in